Hello, I'm Dr. Sam and this is Dr. Sam's Health. 2 weeks ago I started my own personal body transformation diary. I was in pretty bad shape. I weighed well over 100 kilos, 101.1 kilos or 228 pounds. My body fat percentage was an average was estimated to be around 31.4%, which is simply unacceptable. And I made a plan to transform my body rather quickly. And I wanted, and I still want to track my progress and make it public and to show you what can be done in relatively short periods of time. So my plan was to follow a specific diet, which would be low carbohydrate diet. It would also be low calorie, and I would only eat in very specific time frames or time windows. I planned to do it between 6 and 8 p.m. Every day, so that I would have relatively long periods of fasting, around 18, 20, 22 hours every day, which would allow for the fasting to actually induce these hormonal changes in my body that are conducive of weight loss and muscle building. I also plan to do some resistance exercise, and the idea was just to have some light exercise to habituate myself to return to training and to prepare myself for more serious heavy lifting in the future. Two other things that were on my plan, they are secondary but they're quite important, were stress management, stress inoculation, and sleep hygiene, or trying to make my sleep pattern more regular. As a physician, I've got very hectic sleep pattern because sometimes I've got night shifts. It completely ruins my sleep schedule for at least a couple of days, and it taxes on my body, of course. So today is the day 15 of my body transformation. It means that it's been exactly 2 weeks, 14 days since I started. I made my first entry on Sunday. Today is Sunday too. And I'm actually very excited to make this report because I managed to lose 15 pounds. As planned, it was actually my higher margin of my expectation, and I managed to do this. I had this video about losing 15 pounds in 15 days somewhere in October, November last year, and now I managed to do this again. So it shows that my weight loss strategy actually works and gives you some consistent results. Anyhow, I wouldn't be too optimistic about losing 15 pounds. I mean, it's a great result for starters, but pretty much any diet, any nutritional plan, any weight loss program can boast of initial weight loss. The reason for that is effectively we are changing our nutritional approaches drastically. Usually it is associated with some hormonal changes and our body adjusting to it, and what happens is effectively we are cleansing and we're losing a lot of glycogen and water associated with it. Just to remind you, glycogen is this glucose storage molecule, relatively large, that is stored in our liver and in our muscle, and usually we have around a pound of glycogen, and within the first day of dieting or a couple of hours of strenuous exercise, we completely lose all our glycogen. We use it up, and this glycogen is very unique because it actually is very hygroscopic. It carries a lot of water around it. So if we lose 1 pound of glycogen, we usually lose around 3, 4, 5 pounds of water. Effectively, we're losing lean body mass, but it shouldn't matter because it's not actually structural elements of our muscle or liver. So having said that, I've lost 15 pounds. This is a good result. I do understand that approximately half of it, at least half of it, is just lean body mass, and only half or less of it is body fat. Speaking of body fat, I actually use two scales to monitor my body fat, and these two scales, they always show slightly different results. There are always some discrepancies. Usually I see some discrepancy in my general weight. One of the scales is usually showing slightly higher amount, that's why I average them, and the difference is usually around 1 pound. But when I calculate the average of my body weight, usually I'm pretty sure that this is my true body weight. Regarding body fat percentage, I've got a very unique conundrum here. The two scales, they showed actually almost identical body fat percentages 2 weeks ago, and now in the past 2 weeks when I was checking my body fat percentage, my weight daily, I noticed that one of the scales shows gradually decreasing body fat percentages. I went from like 31 something percent to 27.6%, whereas another scale shows pretty much the same body fat percentage. And I'm not sure whether it is some problem with the scale, or I am actually losing proportional amounts of lean body weight and body fat. It's a bit too early to draw any conclusions. I will keep using two scales and keep averaging the results, but I actually can tell that I have lost some body fat, and actually substantial amounts, because not only my weight changed, but also the way I look changed. You can most likely tell it by my face already. If you compare this video to the previous one, you can see that I'm a little bit more svelte, and people started noticing it. They are asking questions. They're just like, what's going on, Andre? How come that you look so different? Another aspect of it is body measurements. I actually take them every week, and I can tell that I have already lost around an inch in my trunk body measurements, and around half an inch in my arms and legs, which is, again, there is some superficial fat there. And usually what happens with pretty much any good diet, first zones where you lose your fat, there are periphery, so your neck, your arms, your legs. And unfortunately, we'll always want to lose fat in a specific area, usually our belly, right? Belly and hips, and these areas are the last ones to start losing fat. It has something to do with the hormone sensitivity and the activity level of certain organs. So we definitely move our limbs way more than our trunk, and there are different receptors, and these receptors have different sensitivities to insulin, to glucagon, to cortisol, and so on. One of the reasons why we've got this central obesity that is very characteristic for people who gain weight under some stress, and also it's very characteristic for certain endocrine disorders. So having said that, I'm very happy with the first 15 pounds lost. First 2 weeks were great. I did follow my nutritional plan quite rigorously. At the same time, I would like to say that I did not monitor my calorie levels, calorie intake. Simple reason for that is just like I know approximately how many calories are in certain foods, and I was having just one meal a day most of the time, and this one meal I would just like limit the portions, and I was pretty sure that my caloric intake was around or less than 2,000 calories a day. I think that this system works, and I don't want to change it at this point, because otherwise it will be too restrictive and it will become way more difficult to follow. I have been losing weight. I've been in ketosis in the past 2 weeks, so all these things are good indicators that the diet and the nutritional plan works. I managed to work out. I stuck to my plan. So what I will do in the next 2 weeks, I will keep doing what I've been doing. If I notice that there is a certain plateau and my weight loss slows down significantly, then it will be an indicator that either I have broken my diet in certain aspects of it. Say I go to a restaurant, have some meal, and there were some hidden carbs there. There are some foods like cheese, for example, that are very energy dense, and if you consume some of them, you might shoot over your caloric intake limit. This will be the indicators that I've broken my diet. I will literally review everything I've been eating, and will introduce some changes. I'll be more careful. On the other hand, I've got a number of other little things, little tweaks that I can use to break the plateau and continue my weight loss. For example, I'm still drinking Diet Coke, Diet Pops in general, and I can remove that. I still drink relatively large amounts of coffee. I can start counting my calories in the end of the day, and further restrict that. I can increase my exercise levels, which is not the best strategy for weight loss, and I will make a special video about that. But in general, my point is there are quite a few little tweaks that you can do in order to break the plateau. I hope that it will not have any kind of plateaus, and I do not expect to have any in the next 2 weeks because it's still early in the program, and I seem to be doing everything right at this point. I will definitely keep you posted about all the things that are happening. I will report in 2 weeks. I will tell you what exactly happened with my body weight, with my body fat percentage, what I have done, if there were any plateaus or any kind of difficulties, problems with my weight loss. I will keep exercising. I will keep increasing the weights gradually. I started with very light weights just to habituate myself, and I will continue increasing the weights. I will monitor my stress levels, my sleep patterns, and I hope that everything will go smoothly in the next 2 weeks. So I'll see you then, and meanwhile, please subscribe. If you like the videos, like them on YouTube, make some suggestions. I'm always happy to see your comments, your questions. I answer them. I would like to make my videos more inspirational, more informative, and I hope that what I'm doing right now shows you what can be done and helps you with your own learning or body transformation. I'll see you in my next videos. All the best, my friends.